I'm so thankful to be here, so thankful you are here. Jesus says he knew us before he formed us in our mother's womb. We were in his care before we were born. But oh, so sadly, all have gone astray, turning each one his own way. A 20-year-old single man and a 19-year-old single woman conceived. Me. I'm so thankful abortion was not legal. Going my own way as a college senior, I became pregnant. Neither I nor the dad of the child considered abortion. I'm so thankful abortion was not legal. We married and conceived 5 more children. So sadly, still going our own ways. When I told my husband I was probably pregnant with our 6th child, he said, "There's only one thing to do." Abortion had been legalized. We believed the lie. It's not a child yet. Shouldn't legal mean right? When Jesus told Pilate, "I am come that you might know the truth," to tell people the truth, Pilate replied, "What is truth?" The night before my appointment, I was not a Christian, but I asked, "God, is there anything wrong with what I'm going to do? Man says it isn't even life. What do you say?" In the morning, a clerk from the facility called. The doctor has to cancel his appointments. What do you want to do? I didn't remember the night before. I did not make the connection. I wasn't listening. In the waiting room were 2 other women. I could hear their conversation. "It's our 2nd, too soon. It's our 3rd, we only want 2. I thought nothing. I felt nothing. Denial. Lying on the abortionist table, I failed to realize I had been in this position 5 times previously as I birthed my children. I also failed to realize that the abortion procedure was damaging my uterus, resulting in a hysterectomy shortly afterwards. As I returned to the car, my husband asked, "How do you feel?" Feel? Nothing, except I was angry that he'd asked. He replied, "I only can say that I feel relief." Relief? As though it were over? The abortion procedure destroyed our parent-child relationship and nearly destroyed our marriage due to the guilt, grief, shame, and the blaming. There are as many married women and men being deceived by the lie of abortion as teenagers, their friends and parents. Within a year, 70% of the mother-father relationships dissolve. Within 2 years, 80%. Within 5 years, 90%. A few weeks after the abortion, I was handing my 3-year-old a vitamin. It rolled across the table. As she reached for it, she fell off her chair. I watched her fall onto her neck. I deserve it if she broke her neck. I am so thankful she only broke her collarbone. One night my husband came home from work and said he felt so much pressure, he thought he'd be better off dead. I didn't think so. The next day at the kitchen window, "God, you know I believe in you." and in your Son, that he died for me. I hope when my time comes, my death, I find out what you say is true. Going my own way, not listening, I would not be ready. Shortly afterwards, we went to see relatives and went to church with them. For the first time, I realized something was terribly wrong between God and myself. I had no idea what it was. At my right ear, I heard, "Stand up, acknowledge me." I looked at the room of strangers. No, I can't, not now. That day, I remained without the forgiveness and right relationship that I needed. A year and a half later, we moved. One Sunday afternoon, a relative called. He said, "I have found God to be reality, and it's man that has messed up this world." I know I've messed up reality. I didn't. He suggested I take the 4 children and go to a church that had an evening service. As I sat down, the man who stood said, "Tonight I'm going to talk about doing God's will. To do God's will, you must want His will to be your will, instead of trying to make your will His." I felt God's presence around me. Oh God, what a miserable wretch I am. I've been trying to run my own life and I'm going in circles. You know I believe in you and in your Son, that he died for me and rose from the dead. Oh, the weight, the guilt. Oh God, I've murdered. The peace was greater, and I knew God was no longer far away. I belonged to Him. Previously, I'd only been existing. Now I'd begun to live as God intended. And such comfort. I was the mother of 6 children, not just the 4 I was raising. The 3rd child who had died premature, and the 6th child I'd aborted, were with him. I knew that now I had been existing for 29 years, 10 months, and 3 weeks, separated from God because I was going my own way, not listening. When my daughter had fallen that day, that evening I called my sister and I said, "I think God has forgiven me." She said He has, but there was a problem. At that time, I had not received God's forgiveness. Still going my own way, separated from God, spiritually dead. How about you? Are you really living? Or are you just merely existing? Jesus formed you in your mother's womb for the purpose of you coming to know Him, to receive Him, to allow Him to give you His forgiveness, His life. Will you listen? Will you turn from going your own way and receive Him? as many as receive him, he gives the power, the right to become children of God. He wants you to live. If you are willing for his way, the way of life now and forever, tell him so. Jesus, forgive me for going my own way. I want your will. I receive you, Jesus, and your life-giving Holy Spirit. Jesus, I thank you for forgiving me, and I thank you for the gift of life.